right, let's dive right into this. Right now, it feels like literally every organization on the planet is scrambling to slap an AI label onto their roadmap, right? You add a chatbot, maybe a generative AI summary, send out a triumphant press release, and boom, you claim your company has officially entered the future. But here's the brutal truth. Just sprinkling AI across your software, well, it doesn't make you an AI company. It just makes you a traditional company with a slightly smarter search bar. And honestly, probably a slightly more confused customer base. To really wrap our heads around this, we first need to stop confusing being AI native with being AI first. Let's establish a quick baseline. AI native refers to products that have AI built into their absolute core. Think of it like a giant game of Jenga. If you were to somehow pull the AI block out of an AI native product, the whole thing fundamentally breaks. The AI isn't just a fun little add-on or side quest, it is the structural foundation of the software itself. Okay, so being AI first, that's entirely different. It actually isn't about your product features at all. It means fundamentally redesigning how your entire organization operates. We're talking about restructuring every workflow, every process, and every team so they intentionally use AI to move faster and make smarter decisions. If your company is just handing down some vague mandate to an isolated tech team, crossing their fingers and hoping innovation magically spreads, yeah, that strategy is, unfortunately, completely destined to fail. And fail they absolutely do. Right now, organizations are staring down a massive 39% failure rates in their AI projects. 39%. Why is it so high? Well, it mostly comes down to inadequate evaluation, a lack of strict governance, and honestly, starting with those vague company-wide mandates like, hey, everyone needs to start using AI to be more productive. The problem is, when AI suddenly becomes everybody's job without any real structure, nobody actually owns the outcomes. This lack of ownership leads straight to a uniquely painful place for product leaders. I call it prototype purgatory. It's a tragic, yet super familiar story. On one side, you have the pristine lab demo. You built this clever prototype in a highly protected little bubble, using perfectly clean, hand-picked data. And it looks absolutely amazing when you show it to the board. But the exact moment that pristine prototype hits harsh enterprise reality, messy company data, shared ownership, strict legal compliance, unpredictable human users, it dies instantly. It crashes and burns because the organizational structure just wasn't ready to support it. And look, this isn't just theory or some hypothetical warning. Aleks Bass, the chief product officer at Typeform, actually validates this exact pain point. He refers to this failure mode as AI adoption as chaos. And that hits the nail on the head. When different teams are working off completely fragmented definitions of what AI is even supposed to achieve, you end up with these scattered, isolated pilots that never actually scale. Product managers, designers, engineers, they all end up retreating into their comfortable silos. They start policing each other's decisions instead of collaborating on shared, measurable outcomes. So I want you to think about your own organization's legacy bottlenecks for a second. How long does it currently take your company to approve and provision a new AI tool for your product team? Honestly, if your answer is measured in months instead of days, you are already falling behind competitors who are out there iterating in production right now. Standard legacy procurement processes simply cannot keep up when your teams are rushing to safely test 20 different cutting-edge tools. So how do we fix this whole administrative nightmare and organizational chaos? Well, we stop bolting AI onto the roadmap, and we start redesigning our core operating model across 5 operational pillars. Those are engineering context, building an AI mesh, implementing POC procurement, demanding clarity and observability, and standardizing the platform layer. Let's break these down one by one. Starting with Pillar 1, engineer context, not just code. Now listen carefully here, because AI transformation, it isn't actually a technology problem at its core. It's a people and trust problem. Before you can scale your tech ambitions, you have to deliberately engineer shared context among your product, design, and engineering teams. They really need to understand each other's constraints and trade-offs. Shared context builds trust, and trust is quite literally the only thing that allows cross-functional teams to stop policing each other and start rapidly shipping. Moving on, the second fundamental shift is getting away from the isolated AI lab. If you treat AI simply as the data team's job and lock your incredibly expensive AI talent away in a separate box on the org chart, you are going to build fragile systems that do not survive contact with the customer. Instead, you've got to build an integrated AI mesh. This is essentially a hybrid approach.
You keep a small central enablement group to set standards, sure, but you embed your domain AI squads directly into the product areas. You have to put the AI talent right where the real business decisions actually happen.
Okay, pillar number 3, it tackles that massive procurement nightmare we talked about earlier. To solve the tool evaluation bottleneck, try doing what Typeform did. Implement a proof of concept, or POC, procurement process. This is a parallel, extremely lightweight process. And the brilliant trick here, purposefully avoid sensitive data initially. This lets you move incredibly fast and ruthlessly measure new models against standardized criteria like quality, latency, and cost without getting bogged down in a 6-month security review for a tool you might just throw away next Tuesday. And hey, if you're wondering if this framework actually works in practice, the results are frankly staggering. After Typeform adopted this exact AI-first mindset, enabling their engineers with AI coding assistance and deeply shifting their culture, they saw an incredible 200% increase in pull requests submitted per engineer. Let that sink in for a second. 200%. Complex integrations that used to take an entire quarter to complete were suddenly being wrapped up in just a few hours. That is the sheer power of getting an AI-first operating model right. But to maintain that kind of hyperspeed without reverting back to total chaos, we need pillar 4, clarity and observability. You must establish 2 unbreakable rules for every single initiative. First, clarity. Every team has to be able to articulate their AI strategy in one single sentence. Are you optimizing for cost, for quality, or for speed? Pick one. Second, observability. Every initiative must be strictly measurable. You need to track your usage, your quality improvements, and the business impact from day one. Because if you can't measure it, it isn't a strategy. It's just a guessing game disguised as innovation. Our final pillar is standardizing the platform layer. Look, at an enterprise scale, having access to a shiny new large language model is just table stakes at this point. Everyone has that now. The real competitive advantage comes from standardizing exactly how AI is built, deployed, evaluated, and monitored. When teams don't have to reinvent the wheel, meaning they aren't rebuilding data access, retrieval-augmented generation pipelines, and safety guardrails from scratch every single time, they can ship highly reliable AI capabilities infinitely faster. Ultimately, becoming an AI-first organization is all about culture, structure, and operational discipline. It's the realization that AI shouldn't be a flashy headline feature, but an invisible accelerant for everything your company does. So I want to end this explainer with a final provocative thought. Call it a CEO audit test. If your CEO asks you tomorrow, what are all the AI agents in your organization currently doing, and you cannot answer them with hard data and clear audit trails, well, you don't have an AI-first company. You're managing a massive liability. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Define your terms, embed your talent, demand those metrics, and I'll see you next time. Keep building.